down today. You ready? We live.
Yep. Are we live?
Born ready.
What's up?
What's going
Yeah,
on?
with it.
All right, so listen, check this out real quick, man. We want to thank We Up Radio. We want to thank JOOKED Radio for having us this morning, man. Everybody want to go around and introduce themselves real quick. We'll start over here with the lady, of course.
What's up? I'm Carla. Thanks for having me here, and I can't wait to talk about, this stuff.
All right, my man.
What's going on, everybody? My name's James. I'm one half of Detroit's Most Wanted, and thank you for having me.
There we go.
What's good, everybody? My name is Ryan, or you can call me Waverly West. I'm glad to be here. Very, very important discussion we're about to have today.
Yes, sir.
I'm DJ Goldie Montana.
Yo, it's busy, man. This your boy Richie Carlisle, live and direct from JOOKED Radio, presented by Follow Black Dollar, sponsored by Wristwork Custom and Avery Hart's new book, Wholesome Pie Splinter Will. Go get that joint on Amazon and every other digital outlet.
What's up? It's your boy Big D, man. I love you.
Don't ask why they call him Big D.
What's up, everybody? It's your man, the Trucker Dad Smith, YouTube video maker.
All right.
Here we
No
go.
retakes, bro.
Short and sweet, baby. Short and sweet.
Internet radio, so you ain't got to worry about what you say, man. It's all candid, man. But want to thank all you guys for coming out. We got Big Goldie in the background, man. He's handling everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Thanks
saying?
for having us.
But check this out. So we've been promoting it for weeks and weeks and weeks about our racial roundtable discussion tonight. Well, this morning actually. Give me the mic and just hold it. I feel
Ain't nobody hear you man, on the mic.
Okay. Okay, well now they can hear me, so check this out, man. I put this together because I definitely think that this certain group of people have a great dynamic as far as the opinions that they have about the racial issues that we go through. I put this team together because in some way we all are connected. Carla, you know me. You also know James.
Right.
James, professional wrestler. You know Trucker Dad. Okay. Me and DJ, we work together and everything in a close capacity.
Okay.
Me and Richie Carlisle, we work together in a close capacity. And then Ryan, you've been like my brother for the last almost 10 years. I mean, I was one of the first people to see and even hold your son. So, so it's a very close-knit group of people to where, nobody felt like they were sitting in a room full of strangers trying to get their point across. Right. All right.
You're also in the wedding.
I'm also in his wedding, man.
Awesome.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
And
Okay.
so,
Just
things
kidding.
like that. But what we want to do is we want to have like a lighthearted but serious discussion on a lot of the issues that we deal with, not only from our black community, but also our Caucasian community. Would you prefer Caucasian or the white community? Which one?
Saltine American, thank you.
I mean, you could say white. I don't have a problem
so
with that.
what we'll do is we'll go the black side, we'll go the white side.
Okay.
Okay. And everything.
First time we've been first ever in life.
All right, now, okay. Now, come on, man. You can't. We're going to start it like that.
It's a sense of humor.
We're going to start it like that. Okay.
Humor.
Now
Come
listen,
on.
we're not gonna say that racism is based on just black and white. Of course, we do include our Latin community, our Mexican community, anybody of any ethnicity that is not represented in the room. But just on the time that we had to put everything together, we brought in a white team, we brought in a black team. All right. So like I said, if anybody starts to get a little heated, you know what I'm saying? If one of the topics gets a little out of control and you start to feel your temperature going up, you know what I'm saying? You're more than welcome to just step out, collect yourself and everything, because there are going to be some things that the black side is not going to like. There are going to be some things that the white side doesn't like. But at the end of the day, we're all here for a much bigger cause than just the people in this room.
Amen.
Sure.
Okay.
Amen.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So we're just going to jump right into it, man. So
Start it off.
my first topic that I wanted to ask you guys about is, of course, we're going to address the elephant in the room. So we're going to go with white privilege. Okay?
Okay.
So first, I'm going to ask somebody from the black team, like, what do you feel is white privilege? What does white privilege consist of?
Not getting shot by the police.
Not getting shot by the police.
That's
Okay.
a big,
I mean, he's got a point.
What else? Like, what do we think? Like, when we say we throw white privilege out a lot.
Stuff that they can get away with that we can't get away with.
Okay.
Like what? Can you
elaborate.
elaborate?
I mean, like getting out of tickets, like me and you talked about earlier. You know what I'm saying?
Ticket-
We're talking about getting out of tickets. We'll go a little
Yeah,
bit deeper.
I mean, it's just, you know,
Yeah.
it's
We'll go a little bit deeper. Now, myself, I have a concealed carry license.
Okay.
I carry a gun.
I have
Oh, I didn't know that.
James, you also open carry a gun.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if I walk around my neighborhood with my gun just openly showing, there's a chance that it's going to catch a negative reaction.
Because of the color of your skin.
Because of the color of my skin.
Yeah.
Where okay, and James, even you and I, we took our kids Halloween trick or treating
Yes.
on Halloween.
Yes.
And we were in, we'll say we're in Parma, which is
That's
predominantly white.
yes, you're
And
right.
I would not have carried my gun
Because
in
they-
Parma
you would've
because
got
of
the
color of
cops
my
co-
skin.
But I
absolutely.
carried
But you
mine.
carried yours because you were comfortable with that.
Wow.
You
Now,
see?
see,
Okay.
it would be different if I came to your neighborhood carrying my gun, because people would be like,
It would.
What
why
the
is this
hell's-
white kid carrying a gun?
Yeah.
I mean, true. I mean, it's.
I mean, then say I didn't know you and you had a gun. Well, I'm going to go pull my gun out because he has his. You know, and then
I
that
feel
kid
like-
start, I don't like you don't like me, bang, bang.
Yeah.
One of us is going in the body bag.
Yeah.
Isn't didn't that happen with that Trey?
Trayvon
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
Trayvon.
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
But it
okay.
also was Trayvon Martin, too.
But Trayvon Martin, that was just somebody that was trying to. He wanted to be a cop. And
It was everybody,
Okay.
though. It
Yeah.
wasn't just Trayvon Martin. It wasn't just Tamir Rice. The thing
Freddie
is,
Gray. You know what I'm saying?
white privilege is, you gotta think about it, it's much deeper than just these minute issues.
Right.
It's really like, I can drive down the street, roll right past a cop, and they're not gonna look twice at me. You're driving down the street, you're automatically profiled without
Right.
question. So, you know, for people to say, like one of the big things is everybody's like, "Whoa, Tamir Rice was reaching for his waistband. Oh, he deserved to get. He brought it upon himself." You know what I
Right.
mean? But the thing is, that cop pulled up awfully close, awfully quick, opening up the door,
Yeah.
shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Soon as they
I mean, he literally pulled
Yeah.
onto the playground.
And you know, it starts with profiling. It starts with all of that. It's, you know what I mean? It's a much deeper issue. You know what I mean?
It's definitely a much deeper issue.
I
But-
totally agree.
And that's my thing. It's like as the black community, we throw around white privilege, but we haven't really stopped to figure out what it actually consists of and what it means. We just, the way we look at it, in my opinion, is I see a white person who can get away with something that I can't, and that's just it. You know, every time that I see, we'll talk about what's the guy that shot up the movie theater in Colorado?
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Batman
turned
yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Now he shot up a movie theater full of people, and he's still alive.
That you're absolutely
He's
right.
still alive.
You're right.
But then you got a kid that you just brought up, Tamir Rice,
Yeah.
a kid who's in the park
Yeah.
with a toy gun,
And he gets killed.
He's dead.
Yep.
You
You're
understand what I'm
absolutely
saying? We got Mike Brown, Michael
yeah.
Brown. We got
Trayvon
Martin.
we got Trayvon Martin. We got Freddie
Eric
Gray.
Garner.
You know what I'm saying? Eric Garner. These guys were all they were all unarmed, like unarmed. You know,
Yeah.
we got
These are only people we know about. Too.
Yeah, I'm
And then we
sure
just
there's
had to-
more. It goes back into
We
history.
can talk about Dylan Roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dylan Roof walked into a church and shot 9
And
black
he
people.
prayed with them people before he did it.
Right. So
Oh,
this
Jesus.
was premeditated. You
Yeah.
premeditated this, and yet you're still alive. They went and took him out of his home, and they put a bulletproof vest on him
And took him to Burger King.
to take him to jail. That doesn't happen with us.
But can I just say this? Okay. Kind of going back because like you said, you know, the white, like you just see like the whites going in and, you know, doing this. You don't see a black man going to a church and, you know, doing that, or, you know what I'm saying?
You
It's,
don't hear it.
Well,
if it
I'm
does, you
not
don't
saying
hear about
I'm
it.
not saying it doesn't happen, but I could see your point. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's just like they go in. It just seems like it's always the whites that are like crazy and going to do that instead of like, you know what I mean?
Well, his whole shooting was racially motivated. He went
Yeah.
in with the intention of killing black people.
Yeah.
He went in and engulfed in hate. So it's like,
But I see your point because like they're probably still alive. But if a black man would go into a white church and shoot, he would probably
He wouldn't make it out alive.
He wouldn't even make
He
it out
wouldn't make it
alive.
alive.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more.
You don't even have to assume that. You could see like the new shooting just happened.
When you talking about the one in Christchurch,
Yeah.
in New
Yeah.
Zealand.
No, I'm talking about the one that was in
Sri Lanka?
Yeah.
No, not that. I'm talking about the shooting, the police involved shooting down in North Carolina just happened.
Oh yeah.
He was crouching down.
Yeah.
the officer, you see on the body cam, the officer's got the gun on him, telling him to put the gun on the ground. So as he's reaching to his waistband to do so, she lets off, how many shots was it? 2 or 3 shots? Killed him.
5,
And his last words was, I was trying to, or I was doing what you told me to do.
I was doing what you told me to do.
So you know if a black man walked into a white church and decided to shoot up a white church, you know for a fact he's not coming out alive, because he can't come out of alive kneeling on the ground talking to somebody with a gun.
Hell, you can't even sit in your own house. Cops is walking in your house, but busting on you.
Well, and
People get killed when they're asleep at home, in their own home, and then they figure out ways.
Got a bowl of
to
cereal on the
give
table and a
officer
book he reads.
excuses. Well, she was sleepy. She was tired. No, she went into this person's home when they were asleep and killed them. That's,
Are you talking about that cop that walked
In
Texas,
Texas,
Dallas,
yeah.
Texas.
Yeah, Texas.
I mean, for me, it's not even just, it's not even that extreme, man. To me, white privilege is never being questioned about your credentials or reason why you are in a position of power.
Right, and then also going along with the white privilege thing, why was that lady able to move? You said she literally was able to move. They treated his house like it was a full-on crime scene, and like you said, went through his whole thing and everything. She was able to move. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't even see what she had in hers. Or,
White privilege is never being on trial for being a victim.
Yeah.
If you are a victim, if you are a white victim of crime, no one is going through your history bringing up the bad shit you did.
right?
And 9 times out of 10, when you're white, you know what I'm saying, you go to court to get judged. You're not judged in the street.
Absolutely.
Okay. So Reggie, let me touch on what you just said. So you said that you're not questioning. They're not going to bring up your history and everything like that. I was just watching the NFL draft.
Of course you were.
2 days ago. Of course, that's what I did.
Right.
Okay. But a player gets drafted. I can't remember his name. He's a big. They call him Big Baby. That's all I remember. But I posted on Facebook. I can look at the name. But what happened was he had been arrested before for punching a woman.
Oh, gee, of course.
And as soon as he gets drafted, they show this video of him punching a woman. Now they tried to cover it up. They tried to cover it up, or they tried to put a disclaimer out saying, "Oh, he was protecting his mom. He was breaking up a fight." And they showed the whole thing basically like he broke up a fight. He pulled a woman off of his mom, and then something happened, and then you just see him punching the other woman. Now,
so they didn't get the whole story.
Right, they give the whole they give their parts of the story, but then you got a player who has openly supported MAGA. You got a player who has openly made homophobic slurs. You got a player who has openly made racial comments.
You talking about
Nick Bosa.
Okay.
How about like kneeling on?
Black Panther and Beyonce
right,
and all that.
and LeBron James is dumb. He's an idiot. All this other, you know what I'm saying? And Trump rules the world and all this stuff that he's doing.
Oh, okay.
But yet he got drafted, and all they talked about was his family. All they talked about was his family. All they talked about was his brother's in the NFL, his father was in the NFL,
Wow.
blah, 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 blah. You didn't bring up none of that about him. But as soon as this black kid gets drafted and he has a little bit of a past, what was the purpose of bringing that up now?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Why didn't they bring it up before?
Right.
And he dropped
this is his
tremendously
moment.
in the draft
But this
because of
is
that,
his
too.
moment. It doesn't matter. That's like on my birthday, you come and say, "Oh, remember you got locked up last year." What?
Right.
Like this
Does
is
that
my
have to do
birthday.
with
This is a
anything?
time of celebration. That was this man's moment. That was the changing moment in this man's
Man, that's
life.
high-end player hating, man, for real,
It
because
is.
he was in a position to secure a huge bag. Now, we can't let you do that, so we're going to go ahead and... You didn't mess up Nick
They're
Bosa's
always
bag.
trying
He
to
won
dig
the
up your
second
past.
round.
We
Yeah.
didn't hear about Bosa
Right.
until the next day.
That's
Wait,
millions of dollars.
Not even ESPN was reporting it. Total Sports Online was reporting it. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
it gets buried. That's why
None of that was mentioned at all. All you want to talk about is this man's family and their legacy and all this other stuff. But then, you know what I'm saying, and you just let him just slide on through. But then this guy has a history that happened years ago that he's already like, all right, I admitted it. I take responsibility for it. You know, it's the past. But then as soon as they called his name to be drafted, this is the first thing you talk about.
Right.
Him
Yep.
punching a woman and going to jail. What now that itself is another form of white privilege. You know,
Okay.
because you know what I'm saying, when you're in a position, when you're white and you're in a position, they're gonna ignore all of that stuff.
Of course.
They're gonna ignore all of that stuff. But then when you're just some kid coming from the hood, when I'm coming off of 55th right here, you know, and I grew up in the hood and I did dirt and everything,
Right.
they're gonna bring all of that up.
Right.
Well, that's why
Right.
I think
They're gonna have old club picks.
They're down on one knee.
Like,
I think the one thing about white privilege, I think it's extremely layered. It's very layered. We could sit here all day and talk about everything that goes into white privilege, but
Absolutely.
I mean, you could look at it from the the cops involved shootings all the way down to even here on the east side. We know Cleveland is a segregated city. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
East side is predominantly black. West side is predominantly
No,
white. I mean, it's becoming more mixed, whatever. But you gotta look at it like on the east side. Do you know that over here on the east side, the lead levels are double of Flint's?
Yeah.
They're double of Flint. 7% lead levels in Flint. It's 14% here on the east
Jesus.
side.
Yeah.
So the white, do you think that would happen in
And-
Westlake,
and like
Rocky
Harvard,
River?
Hell no.
right?
It would not happen. That would have
No.
been fixed. They had a water main break in Middleburg Heights about a month ago. It was fixed. Everything was done. All the testing was done within like 3 hours.
Yep.
Wow.
That lead level's 14% here on the east side. This stuff is systematic.
not only that, but on the
know
east
what I
side,
mean?
you have a lot of suburbs over in this community where it's not cheap to live here either.
Right.
It's not.
I
cheap.
know.
It's
Like
not.
even
But
on
they
the
still-
west side,
We
of,
pay
like
more over
Cleveland, it's like
Right.
900 for. I'm like 65th and or whatever.
Cleveland,
I
that's ridiculous.
I want to actually
me about it.
Comment on your white privilege because I actually got pulled over about maybe 2 months ago. And even though I am white, I mean, I just don't know about the cops anymore. So I put like, I have my daughter in the car with me and I was like, okay, here are my hands. I'm putting them here. I'm going to go there, because I was scared, even though I'm white, but you just don't know. And I was like, well, here are my hands. And he was like an asshole, and so.
Asshole.
I don't want to, he was an asshole.
Asshole.
He was a dick. So,
Asshole.
and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, and my daughter's in the back and she's like freaking out, and I'm trying to calm her down. And he's like being an asshole. And I'm like, and that for that split second, I'm like, man, if I was a black woman, I mean, I would have probably got pulled out the car. I would have done, all this stuff. Yeah. Like, okay, like, let's be honest. How many times when you're driving down the road and you see a cop pull over, you look, it's always, I'm serious, it's always a black man or a black woman.
It is.
Let's be honest, all the time. And they're like, they got the dogs out. I'm like, what the fuck?
I got a story for you,
Two or
real
three
quick
cars.
story.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I was in Lakewood playing basketball. Okay, I was at the cages. And,
Okay.
everybody knows how Lakewood is.
Yep.
Okay, Lakewood will pull you over just for the fuck of it.
Okay.
They don't give a fuck. They have nothing to do in Lakewood.
Right.
Lakewood, you know what I mean? We were playing basketball. My friend and I. He was black. We were crossing the street. We were jaywalking in Lakewood.
Oh, boy.
Which it's like a felony in Lakewood.
Right.
Everything's a felony.
Lots of
Everything's
Lakewood
a
shade this morning.
Right. So we got stopped by a cop, and immediately the cop told me to sit on the curb. He put my friend against the car, searched him, put him in the
Jesus.
back, cuffed him, put him in the back. Meanwhile, the whole time, never got searched once. I got weed on me.
Oh.
Never got searched once. I think that was one of the first times in my life where I started realizing that white privilege is real. And because it didn't affect me on a day-to-day basis, I kind of turned a blind eye to it. You know what I mean? It wasn't until I started dating my fiance,
You right.
who's black,
He's white.
that and she had 2 black children before I came into the picture, and I care for these children, and I love my fiance to death.
But you probably get like shit for that, huh?
I get shit for it, but you know what? To be truthful with you, that's when it started really opening my eyes, because now it's affecting me. I know it's a selfish reason. I know it sounds selfish as fuck, what I mean? But the truth of the matter is it started affecting me every day, and I started realizing what it was. You know what I mean? And to be real with you, to answer your question, yeah, we get a lot of hate. Definitely from both sides. The thing is, I think the hate that I get is much different than the hate that black people get, because mine doesn't stop me from getting the job that I want. Mine doesn't stop me
Right.
from getting thrown in the back of a cop car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
well-
We're gonna come back to that because
Yeah,
you told me
yeah.
about something the other day that I want
Yeah,
to touch
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But what I want to do is so we talked about white privilege, and I want to rebuttal,
Okay.
and I'm gonna rebuttal with what I call black entitlement.
Okay.
And this is what I mean by black entitlement. In my opinion, and I'm always saying my opinion because I can't speak for every black person out there, but in my opinion, black people, we say some of the most racist shit ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Every white girl is named Becky. Every white woman is named Susan. Every white woman.
I was actually called a snow bunny.
See, that's what I'm saying. But
I was like, what?
And black people feel like we can say, like, we have the right.
But if
to
we say the
racist
word
stuff.
that is on your shirt, we're
Right.
racist.
But you know those two things don't really correlate. Those they don't
they
hold
do.
the same weight.
They do, and
the
I'll tell you
N-word
why.
and
Hold
Becky
on.
don't hold the same weight though.
I'll tell you,
Yeah,
I'll tell
I
you
mean,
why.
he's got a
I'll tell you
point.
why. I'll give you an example. And this is what brought me to this. Is I was driving in the car and I was listening to a radio. I was listening to the radio and there was a commercial and there was a guy, you can tell he was black, and he was talking about a health fair that they were having in one of the local clinics. And what he said, we're doing this for the black community because we have to look out for our own. And I stopped and I asked like 3 people, I said, now imagine if there was a white man saying that same thing.
Oh my
If
gosh,
a white man
we
was
would have
on
been.
the radio
But we
and
don't have
literally
to
said-
say it.
But
That's
you-
the
but
thing.
what I'm saying,
We don't have
But
to.
what I'm saying is,
I mean,
just
he's got a
imagine.
point.
What I'm saying is, we feel like we can say that type of stuff, but just imagine how black people would react if a white man literally was on the radio and said, "We're doing this for the white community because we have to look out for our own."
Yeah.
Black people would have a freaking fit.
But that's
Here's the thing about that.
Yes, please.
It's not even the same, to be honest with you, because when that guy said with that we doing it for the black community because we have to look out for our own, he's not lying. He's not lying.
It's not.
No,
I
it's
know,
not
but
about-
it's
well,
not about lying. It's
not
about.
It's
I think
not
it's
about him lying,
or not.
but if you look at the history in terms of health in America with black people, where's the lie? You've had a situation where, in terms of women's health, the study of gynecology was pretty much made advances based upon brutal and cruel and inhumane experiments on black slave women.
True.
So when it comes to health, not only that, we can talk about the Tuskegee experiments
It's
and
not
the
even
whole
a-
nine.
But
you
Reggie,
get-
what I'm saying, it's not
I
even
don't
about
think
the
he's
health
saying
part.
that. I think
It's
he's
not
saying-
about the health part. What I'm saying is the actual words.
Yeah.
Like, we feel like we can say racist shit and it's okay because we have that right because of what has happened to us in the past. But
Yes.
how
I
can
get
we
what
sit
you're
here?
saying.
But how can we sit here and say we want racism to stop if we're feeding?
If you're- yeah.
If we're feeding.
I
it.
Absolutely.
We feel like we want racism to stop, but
But you're
we're gonna
feeding
keep
into-
saying
Calm
racist
down.
shit, and
Calm
y'all are
down.
just supposed
No.
to. The reason I'm talking loud is because I'm not close to the mic.
I know. I'm gonna need
But
you
look,
to calm down.
Relax. Let me say this though, but you know what? I totally get what you're saying. I think to your point, if like what my fiance and I dealt with the other day, we had one of her friends on Facebook who was black. Told her she sold out because she's with a white man. All these different things.
Jesus.
That's the kind of racism I think that needs to
Yeah.
stop. Now, as far as being like pro-black businesses, I'm pro-black. I don't hate white people. I love white people. I love black people. I want to see you guys in the same seat right next to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the thing is, think about it like this. As far as supporting your own business and what you're saying right now, you know, I walk into we got the same credit score. We walk into a bank, right? Mm-hmm. We want to get a business loan to start up our businesses.
That's white privilege.
I get approved for the loan. My interest rate is 1.7%.
Has to be like
you
7.
you get the same loan, but
Yep,
for 7-8%,
like 7%.
because of your skin color. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So
That's
in
white
order to
privilege.
you have to support your own in the position that you're in right now. You know, and hopefully by us being here, just us couple of people that is here, maybe could spark the conversation so that could change somehow. I mean, I'm here because I have no
Can I
idea how the
just-
fuck this is going to change.
Yeah.
I just wanted to change.
Can
you know
I
what
just
mean?
say one thing that really bothers me is like I'm gonna comment on what you said about black we're saying that, but I get upset when a black man likes a white woman and then the black woman gets mad because they're trying to. Was told, oh, you're trying to steal my man, or you can't find a white man, you guys still are black men too. Absolutely. And I'm like, what? Like, oh, okay. So like, what you're saying is that you want to end it, but you're feeding into it by saying,
Right.
you can't be with someone
Right.
but like that makes no sense, you know?
That's my
and
point.
it pisses
doesn't
me
make any
off.
sense.
I agree with
Because
you on
we're-
that,
It
though.
pisses me off.
We're telling. That's just like saying like I want to drive my car, but I don't want to go to the gas. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying?
right.
Yeah.
I'm feeding- right.
I'm feeding into it, but I don't want to do what it takes to make it happen.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. Like, we feel like I can come in here like I got this shirt on.
Yeah.
And everybody on this side of the room can read this shirt out loud.
And I'm not reading that shirt out loud.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I could,
song
but
that I can't say at all. I love Nipsey, man. I can't even say. I have to. Well, I'm talking about the Nipsey song, the second one on Victory Lap.
yeah.
I gotta stop every bar.
But
Yeah, you do.
I gotta stop.
Now,
but what I'm go ahead.
now
ahead.
my question to you is, what's the difference between it with ending in A and then the ER?
Oh boy,
That's a big difference.
that's a
Black
big
entitlement.
difference.
Black
But
entitlement.
see,
That's
that's what
my
I'm saying.
question.
You're
No,
like,
hold on,
you
hold
think
on,
it's
hold
okay
on.
to say
Hold
it,
on.
but
This
then
is
if
that-
we say,
exactly.
oh, we're
Exactly.
racist.
Oh, yeah,
the
Big
difference
Swede said
between
you
the
tripping,
A-
Lex.
Between let him say I'm tripping. But
Wait,
the
who's
difference between the
What
A
up,
and the
Squeeze?
ER, the difference between the A and the ER is how you say it, and it's just the same. It's how you say it. If I come over here and I say, "What's up, white boy?" Cool.
That's
You know what I'm
racist.
saying? He's cool. You
I
know
know,
what
but
I'm
if he goes
saying?
and say, "Hey,
hold on,
black
hold on.
boy," I
But
mean,
if I
that's
don't know him,
racist.
if I don't know him, it comes off different. You understand what I'm saying? I feel like I'm entitled to say what I want to say to him.
I know,
But
but
I
if you
think
come
the
up and be like,
difference
well, what's up,
between- the
white
difference
girl?
between
But
the-
if I
the
go
difference
to you and say,
between
well,
the
what's
name-
up, black dude? You know, that's
the
racist.
words on my shirt is who decides they want to be uptight about it and who doesn't.
Right.
Okay? Because at the end of the day, it's just a word. You know what I'm saying? But you have some people who
But
will
that's-
get upset about it.
yeah, 'cause
and
that's
some people who
racist,
don't.
too.
Now, what I will say is, as a white person, if you're going to say the word,
Oh, no.
be prepared for the consequences.
Absolutely.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
know what I'm saying? Now, you might say you can like one of you can stand up and say it right now.
Oh, I ain't
and
saying
maybe
shit.
2-3 people may get upset, and the other 3 are just like, yeah, okay. Whatever.
They're gonna hit
I'm
me.
gonna get upset.
But
Just,
But
I'm
I
just
think,
keeping it
honestly, I think we lost that. White people lost that right to use that word with all the evil shit we have done throughout the years.
Right, because it's derived in hate. So
It's-
you know what I'm saying. I mean,
absolutely.
we took the word, tried to flip it.
no, we don't
You know what I'm
use
saying?
it at
Just
all.
like back in slavery, exactly.
shouldn't
Because
use
it's
it
like
at all.
back in like slavery days, when you saying they would give us like the scraps, and we saying made the best out of it.
You know
like,
what? To be honest, man,
turned to
all
being
of the
soul food,
activities
you know
we're
what I'm saying?
discussing right now isn't racism.
Yeah.
It's if anything, it's bigoted, it's
Yeah.
wrong, it's cruel, but racism is systemic. Racism is what we've been describing in terms of him not getting the loan the same interest rate as him.
You're right.
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 Racism is Ice Cube having problems buying cable stations
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of white obstruction. Racism was the entire Obama years where
Right.
they refused to give him his Supreme Court justices hearings, nonetheless votes.
Yeah.
That's
And it
racism.
turned him down. It turned him down on everything he tried to push
Racism
through.
is
Yeah, I
refusing
couldn't
to
agree
charge
either.
officers for
Yeah.
crimes, but paying out but paying out wrongful death suits, which is ironically progress because 50 years ago you wouldn't have got shit.
Yeah, true shit.
That's racism. Now we talking about like we saying Snow Bunny or
Yep.
spazzing on that. That's if anything, it's bigotry, it's bigoted, but it's
Right.
not affecting your lifestyle, way of life at all.
Right. Well, going
racism
to because
does.
your
Yeah.
initial question was you said about black entitlement. To me, what black entitlement is you got a business. I come whatever you got put up on the board for however much this costs. I'm going to pay it. But then I go to him. I'm like, bro, can I get a discount?
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'll
To me,
allow it.
that's black
Oh,
entitlement. You know?
that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
That's really good. I like it.
Duty bound to give them that discount?
No.
Black people, I mean,
Hell no.
like, when
No.
people get real offended, we be like, bro, you don't do that when you at their store.
Right.
Exactly.
Why you
That's just
doing that
like
here?
what me and you was just talking about on the DJ side. How the clubs try to lowball you, but if you do a private event, you get what you want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
These are my rates, and that's it.
Yeah, my rates is my rates.
But then you saying also in some other cases that you said like if you show up to you know what I'm saying like a club or whatever, and they be like, yeah, you looking for a DJ, and the first thing you pull out, if you pull out a you know what I'm saying a service contract, they're gonna take you a lot more serious than if you just pull up in there with your turntables.
That's what I do. I do contracts, and I got receipts and all that. I require a deposit.
Go ahead.
I'm just curious to ask you, is it wrong for someone white to exercise their white privilege? Wouldn't you, if you were white, would you exercise your white privilege?
I
they
wouldn't
should
know.
take
I don't-
advantage of
Do
it.
you think it's wrong?
I
mean,
think
if
everybody
somebody
should be
stand
treated.
there and say, everybody black about to die. Would you say, oh, well, I'm going with them? Or would you say, I'm white, I'm leaving? I mean, I understand it's life or death. Of course, you're going to pick life. But I'm
Right.
saying, when is it all right?
I think the thing is my whole life I used it unintentionally. I didn't even know I didn't know it was I think I said I always knew But I mean, like I said, did it affect me on a regular day basis to where you don't pay attention to something that doesn't affect you on a regular basis?
Yeah.
I was. And then when I realized, like, I have other stories too. I mean, you know, you start piecing it together as you get older and wiser and start paying attention to things. You know what I mean? You piece it together, you're like, oh shit, this is real. Like, this is real. So, like, if you ask me now, I got 4 kids.
Right.
I got 4 kids. I'm not going to jail.
Yeah.
Right.
Fuck that. I ain't going to jail.
I'm telling you.
You know what I mean? I got 4 kids. I got somebody I'm about to marry. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I would sit here. I would be lying if I said if I had an opportunity to use it, would I not use it?
You're like, I want that Mickey Mouse extra large.
But at the same token, like now, like I said, with everything that's going on now, and some of the people that I care about the most is people of color. You know what I mean? You sometimes things are bigger than yourself. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And
Right.
it's really bigger than yourself. So, you know, I'm here now in hopes of, you know, changing that. Like I told you.
Do you ever think it's odd? Do you ever think this is odd? This is I always think odd peculiar stuff. I've never seen a black man host a show where they travel to crazy places all over the world.
That's because
because we're nuts.
We don't explore.
Because
you guys don't like
okay,
you
wait,
guys don't like
let's
snakes.
hold on.
Like,
Wait, because I got something to say about
snakes are awesome.
this. Is
Oh,
great.
no,
Go
they're
ahead,
not.
come on,
You
come
think
on.
that it's odd that as black people we feel like in certain places we won't go, shouldn't go, or
Yeah.
just don't go.
Well,
Right.
you said, what about that black dude on
These are
CNN?
safety
You said the one with the crazy
Listen.
hair?
Just like in horror movies,
It's
because
always black guys.
it's I said horror movies, not horror movies.
I think,
Hold
you know
on,
what?
Lex,
I
let's
think,
get your
hold
minds
on.
together. What
I
I'm
think-
saying is,
I think it goes back to what we was talking about before the show when we were talking about that guy bong hitting the pepper.
oh
There's
yeah,
just a certain level of white
White,
that
yes.
white people go to. Let's be honest. It's the extremely
It's-
unseasoned
yes.
chicken side where they decide to hit a bong.
yeah,
with
right.
Also
Or they
peppers.
eat Thai
That's some
pie.
white shit.
Or they smoke bed bugs.
that's very
I don't. I guarantee you, a black man's not gonna smoke black.
Yeah, we ain't doing all that.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, and I've been saying this forever, and it is 12:15.
Okay.
If somebody, without Googling it, can tell me within 5 minutes what was the last thing a black man discovered besides the peanut, I'll give you $20.
Oh, I'm not gonna do that.
I have no idea.
Without Googling it.
But-
And I'll tell you why. You won't find it because we don't discover shit because we don't go close to shit that we don't know what the fuck it is.
Now it's okay. Wait, I have a
There's a
comment.
difference between fucking inventing shit.
Listen,
we don't-
Cause y'all are listen.
No, we don't go.
Yeah,
If I can't tell,
Yeah, we
if I
damn sure
can't
don't
tell
get
if it's
credit.
a plant, if I
That's
can't tell
how
if it's a
horror
plant or
movies-
an animal or something
Horror
else,
movies.
I'm not going near it to find out what it is. If I can't tell from here what it is, I'm not going
Lex,
that close.
horror movies. Listen,
Exactly.
I was
And I need
listen.
I need you to like enunciate the
Okay,
R.
horror.
Horror.
I'm sorry. Okay, scary movies. Is that
I'm
better?
the king of smut.
Okay. First
That'll
of all,
work.
let's calm down.
Lex, we know your mind's at.
I was watching The Conjuring. I was at a theater, and it was so funny because I mean, the white people made me look bad. They're like, oh, anyone in here? And I'm like, bitch, do not go in there. You know you're gonna die. And like all the people were like, that white girl's crazy because she going in there. I'm like, yes.
They don't even put black people in
That's
horror
what I'm
movies.
saying because you guys know. Like, what are you gonna say? Oh, I'm in the kitchen making a freaking pasta or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's
I thought
just
you was gonna say a pot pie.
a pot pie. There you go, a shepherd's pot pie. There you go. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying.
Bunch of
You,
smokers in here.
I didn't smoke.
Dude, I told you, like, before I got here, I just got home.
Tell them they sell.
Oh yes, that's
Thanks,
another
Ryan.
thing. Yes, that's another
I
thing.
just lived up to the fucking stereotype. Did you see that shit?
Yeah, yes you did. Yes you did.
I'll tell you what, if something popped off in here and one person if I ran up out of here, this side of the room is gonna start running after
Right.
me.
Y'all are gonna
Yes.
get trampled.
Motherfuckers
Y'all are
are
gonna
be
get
like,
trampled.
What the fuck is going on? What the hell is what,
Yep.
Let's go check it out. We gotta go check this
Yes,
out.
we are nosy. We
If I
are
start
nosy.
running, all the black people
Oh no,
are gonna
don't
start
get it
running.
twisted. Us black folks is nosy too.
We are
Don't
we
get
are
it
nosy
twisted.
as hell.
We're gonna be nosy from across the
We
street.
can
We're gonna
run
be back
back
there
there
looking.
before we turn back.
Yeah, right.
Oh, here comes the white people right now.
I'm just looking to see who went live on Facebook up with the shit so I can see the shit that way from the safety of my own home.
I volunteered to scout ahead. I want to go scout ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Wait,
I'm running. I got 4 kids.
Back. He got kids.
was
Now,
it
now, my question
Williams
for you
who
guys
said
is,
that?
have you guys seen the Dukes of Hazzard?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Love it.
Why did they pull that show off because of the rebel flag on the
Yes,
car?
please.
Because you said the connotation behind the symbolism of the rebel flag.
But why did they pull the Dukes of Hazzard off the TV?
Because it was just the good old boys.
No, but that has got to be one of the most cleanest shows ever made.
I mean, absolutely.
I mean, there was
Yeah.
no racism.
There's no racism.
If they had taken the flag,
But they pulled the show.
That
But they
rebel
pulled the
flag-
show off the
That
TV
car is
because
actually
of the
on
car.
TGI.
Yes, the rebel flag was symbolic with the car. You take off the rebel flag, and now it's just a car. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't have the same meaning. That's why they had to get rid of the show.
I guarantee you, had the
even
rebel
know.
flag been on kit,
I
it'd
didn't
have
know
been
that
gone
was
too.
why they took it off the show.
I love that show.
Your hoodie.
The show
Now
was
you just
never
have a hoodie
made
on.
for us.
It doesn't.
We just
It doesn't
enjoy
stand
it.
out.
Like
Yeah.
it.
People always find, like, if somebody cracked a joke on some Asian people right now, we all would laugh.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been comedy in our differences and racism. And even with that, that just showed a different side of white America. And now white America is instead of embracing the past, instead of black America embracing the past, everybody embarrassed.
Yeah.
Everybody want to cover up their embarrassments. They feel like, oh, I can't believe we had a show that had a rebel flag and we know what rebel flag. Now, but when it came out, it was this shit. I like All in the Family. I thought Archie.
Oh,
Bunker was
hell
funny.
yes.
Yeah, he was.
And
He was
now
funny.
you can't do that.
I liked watching the
Be in
Jeffersons.
my face.
Yeah,
Mary-
the
Mary
best was
with
when
children.
Sam.
Yeah, Mary with children was on.
I mean, the best was when Sammy Davis gave him a kiss, and back then it was no big deal. Now it's a big deal.
It's a big deal
Well, that's-
because
Well,
it's an
yeah, that's
embarrassment
Yeah.
to former people.
Well, that's
And
like
it's
a
other
lot of
people
the.
coming in positions in these networks and stuff, and they
They
embarrassed.
promoting that gay
Okay,
stuff,
like
though.
what? Okay.
Well, it's like people in the South are trying to erase history. Why?
Yeah.
History's
It's
not
part-
going
but
anywhere.
But it's a part of American history, whether it
Right.
whether it was the South or the North. It was history.
And I understand
they may,
it.
They may
Man,
have
fuck them
died,
Confederate
they may
monuments
have
and
lost.
shit, man. Them shits need to be erased.
You know,
Fuck
I mean,
them.
like, really,
As
the
a staff
Confederacy lost, so
regulator,
why
as a
are we
motherfucking
celebrating
crew,
number 2?
We're celebrating a group of people that were traitors to the nation. Fuck them.
Exactly.
Entirely.
That's how we fit. And
Entirely.
I'm from Georgia. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying? I
okay.
grew up in
Entirely.
Georgia.
Is why erase history?
If you want history, go to a
That shit,
museum.
put it in a museum.
Yeah.
If you want
But they
to
won't
be.
put that stuff in a museum.
They should.
conquered this land, and they took power, and this is the fashion they use. So they celebrating their victories by putting monuments and stuff.
But they celebrating
Well,
losses
they're-
with the
they
Confederacy.
just mad that
They
got
lost.
their victories, and we were slaves doing it all.
Hold on.
Even the ones
So
that-
let's bring this to the
link
point,
stopped.
forefront. Then.
Okay.
Link stopped, just so you guys know.
What's that?
The link stopped. I just got a text. Oh.
Yeah,
That-
my link stopped too.
They phone stopped.
No, I just got a message. I'm sorry. I just got a message because I shared it and said it's not
Okay,
available.
live on the
They
air.
won't let me
Oh,
shit.
okay. Sorry.
So I got a question
I'm
now.
monitoring every
So
culture.
James asked, "What is the point of, or why erase history?" And we got reasons why this part of history should be erased.
I got a good
Now
answer
let's just say, hold on. So Reggie had a reason, Tyrone had a reason. You know what I'm saying? We had reasons why this part of history should be erased. So let's just say tomorrow they just decide to erase Martin Luther King.
Oh no.
Hold on.
Oh,
hold on. Now we had reasons. We had reasons why that should be erased. But how would we feel if they just erased that?
That's
Now-
my point.
Okay.
Now,
Like,
so-
if you
so-
guys
so
erase
it's
the
okay
Southern
to erase
history, why would you
some
guys
things.
erase Martin Luther King and all these other black prominent?
my
You said because of the message that Martin Luther King was spewing.
Yes.
Was
Here we
equal.
go.
Yeah.
Taking the
But
floor.
here's
No,
my-
let me
here's
have the floor, Lex.
Hold on, before you do
Oh,
that,
okay, guys.
before you do
Let's
that,
calm down.
All right, listen. Before you do that, but what
Oh,
I'm saying
he's
is,
fit.
we have rebuttals for everything that goes against us. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to erase this
devil's
part of
advocate.
history.
I know he is.
But if you try to erase one of our parts of history,
might
now
get
it's not. I know, man. I know. But what I'm saying is, if you try to erase a part of our history, now we have a problem with it. Why are we so situational? Like, is either okay to erase history or it's not?
Well,
Is what I'm saying. Why are we so situational to where we say, okay, if it goes against what we believe in, no, don't do it. But okay, that was negative to us, so yeah, go ahead and get rid of it. Like, how can we do that?
I think it's exactly the reason why. Think about that. Like the Confederate flag and everything that embodies and holds was such a negative and dark time for Black America. Am I right?
True.
Martin Luther King was one of the only bright spots in Black American history.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're comparing apples and oranges.
No, I'm not.
You know what I mean?
What was the most negative part of Black history? Slavery. But we bring that shit up all the fucking time.
We're still dealing with
It's
slavery
still-
to this
still
day.
dealing with the
You know why
remnants
we
of
bring it
that.
up all the time? Because motherfuckers ain't cut a check.
Yeah, you said we
It's-
still
cut the
we
check
still
and maybe we
dealing
can think
with that
about
shit
something
on a
else.
daily basis. Man, no.
Yeah, but who stopped
I don't want no
slavery
money.
Pretty much.
Yes, I think
But-
you're
Pretty
saying
much.
like
But
the
okay.
wealth gap should be closed. You know what I'm saying? Like we should all be on an equal playing field. Whether it's through a bank, whether it's through a
Cut the
job.
check.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need a check because at the end of the day we ain't gonna do nothing but
Even
give it
if I
back to
don't
the white
need it,
man
cut
and
the
still
check.
be
Oh
back
my God.
into you know what I'm saying? Still be in the same boat that we in now.
It's almost as just sometimes, and I just say this, and
Mm-hmm.
it's almost as if, to me sometimes, as Black people, we won't be happy until white people slaves for 400 years.
No,
There it is.
That's what it,
I
that's
mean,
what it is.
There it is.
I'm gonna say I'm clapping to that because
I
it's
think
true.
that it's almost, how can we, no matter what, they see, the problem is we expecting them to give us something.
Right.
We want reparations. We expecting them. There's nothing they can give us to take away that.
I wish I
Even if
could.
they
I wish
give
I
us
could.
400 years of slavery, then
We ain't gonna be happy
we
with
ain't
that.
even-
We ain't gonna be happy with that because they
But we did
because there's not a white
But
person named.
but who
That
stopped
man said
it
still cut
though?
the
But
check.
who stopped it?
Right.
Abraham.
I'm expecting people of today to pay for the stuff they ancestors
Oh,
did.
thank you for
I
saying
was
that.
getting ready
Thank
to
you for
say-
saying that
I
because
was-
let me tell you.
That's what it is.
I
And you
agree.
said,
I was
like,
gonna say
I couldn't
Holders got
agree-
that's
checks.
like me shitting from food I didn't chew. You know what I mean?
Yes.
However, the slave holders that had slaves at the time, they were paid for their losses of slaves. So fuck that, cut my check, and then maybe I can move on from there. But the bottom line is,
Nah, man.
the
But-
bottom line in that
If I
situation.
can't get it on my own, I don't want to.
Exactly.
What-
Protest
again.
one night outside with the activists, community activists, and a current councilman of this, that we did a thing outside, and we had sat around this bonfire, and they got upset with me because I said I don't want reparations. They like looking at me like I'm stupid. Like, what you mean? I said the only thing
I'll take his.
Like, I can't-
get out my way and stop trying to stop me. Stop putting
Stop
all
me
these
from
pebbles in my
progressing.
path,
Yep.
these stones in my
Yeah.
way, these obstacles that almost unsurmountable. Just stop doing that and let me do me, and I'll be cool. I don't need you no more.
Exactly, because at the end of the day we get it on our own.
For real.
Yeah.
I just like I can't stand it because you're racist, and I'm like, listen, I can't help that my great grandfather was. I can't do that.
Right.
I say them. I don't mean white people. I mean the system
Okay.
that was created and is still being
Still
implemented
Yep.
by the white people.
Right.
That's the power of it. It's people who can make decisions, say, okay, we're gonna change this, and it can change. It's that simple. This is all people making these decisions, and people are keeping this thing going. It's not going on its own. If everybody decided to stop teaching their kids to be racist, their kids won't teach their kids to be racist. It's not going. This
That's right.
generation ain't gonna heal and fix itself.
It's not. We
gotta
need-
fix the
yes.
other
Hatred
generation.
is taught.
Yes,
Not
it is
inherited.
taught. It is
It's
so taught.
And if you ever watch like the evening news, about 5 out of 10 of those news stories has to do with something a black guy did.
I
Whether
couldn't
it
agree
be
more.
abuse an animal, kill somebody, looked at somebody the wrong way. You know. But my thing is
What
why
news are
why
you
is
watching?
the current generation
He watches
why is the
local
current
news.
generation
Okay.
blaming us for something our ancestors did God knows how many years ago?
Absolutely.
That's my
You said
thing.
because we could sit there and let shit like that go, but then when you see the marches on Charlottesville talking about Jews will not replace us, blood and soul making monkey noises, you know what I'm saying? And you see a group of people doing that shit, and it's like it's almost like inherently we sit there and like every white person subconsciously thinks that shit. It's just like because we've been beat down so long for so many years. It's like when you see something like that, it's like, dude, we in 2019 right now, and I'm still getting called the N-word.
Right. I think
Terrible.
too, to your point,
It's
it's like
2019. You still clutching your purse.
I mean, I don't wear a purse.
I'm in the elevator though.
I think to your point, I think that a lot of times, our silence is also misconstrued as
Guilt?
like compliance. with the
Exactly,
Guilt.
white side.
exactly.
You think
I
guilt,
think
maybe?
not even
what he's
guilt,
saying is
like-
like if you don't oppose it, then you automatically
You're
support
part of the
Okay.
you're part of the
Is
problem.
what it
You
is.
know, like the thing is, like if I'm quiet about the issue, like say we walking down the street together, okay, we walking down the street and someone calls him the N word, I just turn the other way. You know
Oh
what
no,
I mean?
I would never.
But that's what we're doing with all the social issues going
Right.
on right now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We're like I said in the beginning of the show, you know, if it didn't affect me, I wasn't as vocal about it.
Right.
And
Right.
so, like I said, it's not intentional. You know what I mean? It wasn't intentional. Like, I'm gonna go live my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It wasn't
right.
intentional.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just being in a different situation now with a black woman as my wife to be and children that are black. You know what I mean? Like you know, I gotta think differently. I have to sit here and think, how am I gonna have a conversation with my son, who's 8 months old, who's half black, half white? How am I, as a white man, gonna have this conversation with him? That you have to act differently when the police come around. How am I? The thing is, no matter you know, we can get on the topic of cultural misappropriation later. You know, no matter what clothes I wear, shoes I wear, I'm a rapper, I'm this, I'm that. No matter what I do, I am never, ever gonna walk a day in your shoes or wear your skin. I'm never gonna understand what you guys go through on a day-to-day basis. I may
But
see
you
it.
feel it though.
I may
You
get
feel it.
context, but it's a surface thing. I think
Yeah.
it's very on the surface. Like I might gain some perspective,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna. I mean, seriously, like we was at the mall. I was carrying my daughter. She's 3, and she's dark skinned. I was
Okay.
carrying her, and you know, it was early in the morning. You know, all the old white folks are doing their mall walking,
Their
right?
mall
Right,
walk, yeah.
They're doing their power walking.
Yep.
The looks I was getting,
Oh,
people
terrible.
mumbling under their breath. I mean, it pissed me off. Like I was genuinely pissed, and it's like,
You're probably hurt too.
I mean, I'm hurt, but the same, I'm hurt differently now. I'm
Yeah.
hurt because it's like, this shit really goes on every day.
It's
And
terrible.
I'm not,
and I can't imagine, you know,
I can't
because
imagine what it's like.
I actually showed you pictures. My children are 25% black, and you wouldn't know because they're white. But when I first started dating my ex-husband, we went to Middleburg Heights, okay? And I didn't think anything of it because, again, I'm white, you know.
Middleburg Heights is
It-
racist ass
You know,
shit.
it's terrible.
So is Alliance.
It is.
You ever been to Alliance?
Listen,
Oh, God, Alliance is
listen.
terrible.
We were swimming, and the lifeguards were like yelling at me and my ex and his 2 children who are mixed, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I got mad, and I just felt that pain for like a second, and I'm like, oh my God, this is what they have to go through every single day. And I went up there and I cussed them out. I'm like, y'all are racist as fuck.
I used to drive for the garbage company, Kimball. And I'd be on my route by myself, you know.
Name drop it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, whatever. You know, I hate that company. But no, seriously, like I'd be in like Alliance, so like, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that.
Right.
People would come running out, hey, I don't want no niggers picking up my trash.
Oh, you just
I
said
say, okay, and I whatever. Yeah, I'm on the clock, so I mean,
Right.
whatever. And then I get a call, why don't you pick up such and such and such? Are you shitting me?
Right.
And I'm from the South. I ain't never been called the word nigga as much being up here. And I'm from Georgia. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like straight
wow.
up.
That's insane, man. That's insane. That's crazy. You know, and
it's terrible.
like I said, I'll never be able to understand it. I see my fiance go through things every single day because of the color of her skin. You know what I mean? I see even my one of my kids at school. You know, she's at one of the charter schools here in Cleveland, where she's one of few black children. Her principal had to have a talk with her, talking about you don't fall into the stereotype. And her principal's black. Don't fall into the stereotype. And like, she had to have this conversation with a 9-year-old.
Oh,
Right.
that's terrible.
You know what I mean? And she was the one dealing with some bullshit from a kid. Like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like the whole idea that, you're not allowed to be pissed. You're not allowed to be upset about what goes on, or you know what I mean? Like you should be angry. You should be upset.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? And you should feel
But
the
it
need to
goes
do
back to
something
what he
about it.
says, it's not, if they should be, yes, but like what he said, we can't like control, like I can't control what happened 400 years ago, and I'm getting shit for it.
Well,
you know what I mean?
right.
But then that goes back to my point where it's like you saying you turn on the news and you still seeing the
Yeah.
shit today.
It's,
absolutely.
You still see it.
It's just that the thing is now the
But that's the legacy of the whole situation.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
That's the
different now.
legacy of it.
You know, let's be real. The cotton fields are different now. You know what I mean? The cotton fields are different. Yeah, that's not happening anymore. But what is happening? You're being hunted by police officers.
Exactly.
Oh God,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And let me make this clear, because as a rapper, you know, we have these ideas about fuck the police and all this. And, you know, back in my older days when I was involved in some things I shouldn't have been involved in, of course it was fuck the police. But
Okay.
but you know, as you get older, you want to you know, teach your kids a different way and have them be better versions of you. So, you know, I don't speak on all police, because you know, there's some great people out
We
there
have
doing
a
their
caller.
work. You
we
know
have
what
a
I mean?
caller. Okay, cool. We got a caller.
Caller, your name, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
I'm Josh. I'm calling from Cleveland.
What's up, Josh?
Ah, Cortez.
Josh, what's up, brother?
Cortez.
What up, Josh?
What's up, Josh?
Give a shout out to Freak Show.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Josh on the line.
Schizo.
What's your question, Josh?
I was actually calling to give in my weight, just weigh in on the situation you guys
That's a
are
lot of
talking
weight.
about.
Okay.
Okay, so, you guys are going with the whole entire racism, and all that white privilege and pro-black.
I love how
Well,
Darius.
a lot of the problem is a lot of people forget that most of the people causing the problem are the people who don't deal with the problem.
Yeah.
I like
said.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
Like, for instance, police get away with almost anything all because they got a piece of metal that says, hey, I can do what I want and no one's going to stop me because I have this badge.
Right.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Because they think they're protected by the badge.
But in a lot of cases, I mean, like if the
That badge is
policeman is black
It's
and
terrible.
It don't work
kills
the
a
same
white
for black
person,
officers, but
he's
it's
going to
good.
jail.
But the thing is, if you hear of a black cop kill a white guy or kid, you won't hear about it.
You won't
Right.
hear about it. That's
Right.
the thing.
That actually happened in Minnesota, and that cop is on trial. They
Good.
on
Yeah.
his ass.
But
Good.
it's not
Majorly.
everywhere, you know, because CNN is far left. We all know that they're very liberal, and
Oh, geez,
they push their agenda. Then Fox News is far right and very conservative. They
I think
push
Fox
their-
News is more just opinion.
Yeah, it's more opinion. It's not, you know, it's
They can't even
not
call it
necessarily
news.
facts,
It should be
but
just Fox
you
channel.
know, we won't hear. I haven't heard about a white kid getting shot by a cop. I don't think ever in my life.
And it
I'm
happens.
really be
It
honest.
does happen.
I know
Right,
it
right.
happens. You know what I mean? Like I was 13 playing with BB guns on the side of railroad tracks by my friend's house. Cops came around and pulled guns on us. I'm here talking about it right now.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
I have a question,
But
Josh.
now, if it was switching, if it was Lex and Tyrone,
It's a different story.
it would be a different
Two
story.
kids were shot after.
So, Josh, me actually knowing you personally, you are mixed, correct?
Yes,
Oh.
I'm mixed with almost everything.
Okay, so do you get
mutt.
right? Okay, now that's racist. I'm calling him a mutt. Okay.
Good one.
So do you get like
Much love,
shit
Josh.
too, like for being white, Puerto Rican, and black?
Well, see, my whole thing is like, you can look at me. Well, obviously, there's three of you there that personally know me.
Right.
You guys can obviously look at me and tell that I'm not straight, Caucasian.
Right.
You look more Puerto Rican than anything.
Yeah, you do.
Right. But then my attitude and the way that I carry myself, you see, I like to tell people you see my black side show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I deal with the fact that other people look at me and they're like, oh, this dude thinks that he's better than us because he's not dark or he's not, whatever. And I look at it like I go through the same things as you. I get scared every time I see police because, you can look at me and tell that I'm not white. I worry about whether or not, if somebody sees me, if I'm going to be racially profiled, because it's everywhere. Geez, if you walk down the street and you're black and you look some sort of way up,
Right.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's just like a lot of us see a lot of like the sex offenses cases and stuff on TV,
Right.
and it makes me so mad. Like you can see 14-year-old white kid rape like 10 girls and get 6 months.
Actually, I want to, yeah, because I thought it was kind of odd that that guy who beat the shit out of that kid who was molesting a 5-year-old just all of a sudden dies. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of weird,
It's
too.
just the difference in the way it's publicized, too, I think.
Yeah, but it's happening right now with Albert N. Wilson out of Kansas, who was going to jail for 12 years for rape for saliva on titties.
What?
He's going to jail for 12 years for rape for saliva. There was no.
Did he force his mouth on her?
There was no. There was no semen evidence.
No
there was
way.
How do you do that?
A rape kit was conducted, but it was literally they found the only DNA they found was on this woman's chest. But Brock Turner was caught in the act raping a woman.
And he got off.
Not only did he get off, but the judge said he's a good kid. Let's not ruin his life. So you know what I'm saying?
So that means let's just say a black kid was in Brock's shoes.
Yeah, well, that Albert
His ass would be in jail, rotting away.
Well, and to your point, Albert N. Wilson out of Kansas wasn't even doing half. Like he barely got the first base. Let's be real. He wasn't even at first base.
He swung out.
And he's going to jail for a rape charge, like rape. He's going to jail for rape.
And she should go to jail too because they met in a bar that both of them were too young to be in.
Absolutely. Right. Well, he was of age and she had a fake ID. So, you know, Brock Turner was caught actually penetrating the girl and raping the girl and had served 3 months of a 6-month sentence. And here you got Albert Winston over in Kansas. So he licked on a titty.
Yeah.
He licked on a fucking titty. He going to jail.
And
for 12 years.
And you said 17 to 21. You said, like, once you're 16, I think the statute of limits, I think you can.
Consent
is 16. You can up to the age of 24.
They were in Kansas, and I believe she was 17 at the time, which I believe is the age of consent federally, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to double check, but I'm pretty sure 17 is the age of consent federally. So it wasn't a statutory rape thing. It was literally saliva on her chest. A couple people came and said, "Oh, he carried her out and all this stuff," but there was no other.
Was there like a rape kit? Like
there was a rape kit
done?
conducted, but there was no semen found. There was no evidence of a rape that even occurred.
Oh,
and the thing is, the one thing that was a constant in that case. The jury was all white, and they were made up, I think, of 9 women.
Oh, so, another caller.
Call you on there. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name's Gordon. I'm calling from Parma Heights.
Hey, Gordon from Parma Heights.
Gordon, what's happening?
What's happening,
Hello, Gordon.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's your question? To add to the conversation?
Yeah, like I've just been listening to the whole show and everything like that. As far as going on these like police cases and just you know, these cases in fact with like these all white juries and then minorities, you know, getting charged with way more serious crimes than, you know, their white counterparts and everything like that. I remember like it might have been like a month ago or something like that. I made a post. I might be able to care it was, but I made a post because I was just like, you know, how much money is like a big thing I was into is like false convictions and everything like that. False convictions, police misconduct, stuff like that, where it ends up, you know, the city is, you know, the taxpayers basically end up having to pay all this money and whatnot. And when I looked up, you know, like the stats for Cleveland, I couldn't find like any definitive like police report, but I had saw an article from, I think it was Cleveland.com, and I think it was about 2016 or 17 for police misconduct and false convictions and everything like that. It cost the city of Cleveland, I think it was at least $12 million or more. And I'm just like,
if you're a taxpaying citizen, irregardless of whatever your political affiliation is, that should piss you off, and that should tell you something that's wrong with our court system and with our police system, because it's not people ain't paying it, that money. This is taxpayers paying that type of money. They couldn't want it. Anything else, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You saying? Yeah, appreciate it.
Now,
hey, we're gonna take a quick break, right quick. Thanks for calling in, everybody. We're then we're gonna come back fresh in a minute. But in the meantime, y'all chill. So if you're watching the stream, it's gonna stop, then it'll start back up. So watch for the notification.
I'm gonna tell you.